Welcome aboard week 3 in the high school red zone. Welcome in if you're joining us from Channel 7 on this week number 3. A number 1 team is nearly upset. A battle of number 2 ranked teams in their respective classifications turned out to be a thriller. Oh, and we got some rivalry games to show you as well. Let's start with one of those, a backyard battle. Boiling Springs, a 5A school. They're about 10 miles, maybe a little bit less, from Chapman, a 3A school. Panthers made the short drive down US 176, trying to avenge a tough loss against the Bulldogs last season after Chapman got one of the big wins in program history last week. Todd Summers has the recap.
Boiling Springs playing host to crosstown rival Chapman. Panthers' first possession, Coleman Gray throws across the middle, but Bulldog Amaje Boyd comes up with a leaping interception to set up Boiling Springs with great field position, and the Bulldogs capitalize. Ryshawn Morgan straight ahead for a 1-yard touchdown. Boiling Springs up 7-0 early second quarter. Lincoln Husky rolls left and hits Tristan Horsey Johnson for a 27-yard touchdown. Bulldogs lead 14-0. Final play, first half, Coleman Gray airs it out, but this Hail Mary goes unanswered as Jeremiah Favorite comes up with the interception to preserve a 17-0 Bulldog lead at the break. Midway through the third quarter, the Chapman defense makes a play. Lincoln Husky throws deep, but Cole Doherty comes up with the interception, but the Panthers cannot capitalize. Early fourth quarter, Michael Dueck makes his second field goal of the night, this one from 27 yards out. Boiling Springs up 22-0. Midway through the fourth quarter, Chapman finally gets on the board as Coleman Gray tosses a 5-yard touchdown pass to Sean Cunningham. Panthers cut the Bulldogs' lead to 22-7. Just over 2 minutes to play in the game, Ryshawn Morgan seals the deal with a 19-yard touchdown run as Boiling Springs powers past Chapman. Final score, 29-7.
I want people to keep picking against us. I love it. Keep telling us it's just Boiling Springs. Keep telling us this, and this. Our kids are going to step up and prove you wrong. They've worked so hard, and there's been such a stigma about our program for such a long time. Just happy they get to enjoy this, and they're starting to see what hard work does and being able to see the wins come behind us.
In Boiling Springs, for the high school red zone, I'm Todd Summers.
Burns with its home opener after they were the victim at Chapman last week. They built a 21-0 lead at the break against Greenville, trying to avoid a second straight loss. Bryson Drummond, Dean Blackwell. MJ Bennett left the game with injury earlier for Greenville, didn't return. Jacob Coleman, field goal, 24 yards, made it 24-7 in favor of the Rebels at home. Then Keontae Mosley, submarine by Amari Weaver, and Burns able to make it a 6-0 mark since 1991 against Greenville by a final count of 37-14. Spartanburg trying to avoid a first loss against Broome for the first time since 1985. Vikings coming off that huge win last week at Dutch Fork. Nice leaping grab. Justin Rice over the middle from TJ Johnson. Interception stopped that drive. In the second quarter, Calvin Edwards' choice. Pretty drive. A field goal attempt later was no good. Here comes Roderick Gist for the Vikings, getting in on Kamaje Brackett Brandon. Kind of how the game went, a low-scoring tussle. Vikings eventually get the win. They go to 23-4 all-time against Broome, 14-13. Now, Dorman made the trek down to the Lakelands, taking on Greenwood, a couple of 1-1 ball clubs. Cavs trying to make it 8 straight in the series. Over the middle, the connection, Riley Scruggs to Carson Gilliam, cutting the deficit in the fourth quarter to 10-7. So Greenwood's lead is 3. About 2.5 to play. Cavaliers get it their own 1. Scruggs to Trayvon Fernandez, but Scruggs, as the drive approached midfield, picked off right there to seal the deal. And Greenwood survives. They snap a skid in the series against the Cavaliers, and a Greenwood team that managed just 104 yards in a loss last week at Sandy Creek, able to do just enough to win a defensive battle against Dorman 10-7. Gaffney and South Point each entered at number 2 in their respective classification in the South Carolina Prep Football Media Poll as the night began. Third quarter, tight game. Riley Staten, Jayla McDaniel. Nice gain. It set up a field goal that gave Gaffney a 10-point lead. Then a Mason Littlejohn from Staten in the fourth quarter. And the Tribe leads by 13 after that touchdown. Under 1 minute to go in the fourth. South Point down by 6. 4th and 26, Gaffney side of the field. Jaden Sims with the pick to seal the deal. And the Indians with the win 27-21. They avenge a loss last year in Rock Hill. Meanwhile, Mann and Woodruff, second all-time meeting. JL Mann trying for a 3-0 start for a second straight year. Darnell McLeod in a quarterback found Asias Morrison. Then Morrison scampers into the end zone for another touchdown. Michael McClellan, big playmaker. And this time the pass toward him, but the interception by Isaac Wood. But it's not enough for Woodruff as Mann gets a 3-0. They get the 40-0 victory, playing some good defense as well. Hillcrest over in York County against the homestanding Cougars of York, trying to go 3-0 under new coach Bennett Swigert, looking to make it 2 straight against York, and Clover rather, in York County. Harvey Spain, big defensive play. Spain later a big-time hit, but it still turned into a Clover touchdown. Caleb Sutton later scrambling, new quarterback for Hillcrest, taken down, but in the end, Rams beat Clover for a second straight year. 24-7, they have scored 96 points in their first 2 wins. They'll settle for a win with some big defense. Abbeville and Southside Christian, Panthers #1 team in the state in 2A, longest area winning streak, 12 in a row coming in. Paul Coben and Zach Brewster trying to pull the upset, set up an Ethan Chandler touchdown. 7-0 Southside Christian. They quickly went up 14-0. Carson Norman, though, coming back for Abbeville. Nice run as he cuts outside. And then Altavius Patterson, a big fella, not going to stop him close to the goal line. Abbeville rallied from 21-7 down at the half. They scored late, went for 2 and got it. Second straight week on the road. Jamie Nichols' team comes away with a 1-point win, this time in regulation, 22-21. A feisty effort for Southside Christian, but they come up shy.